Women should be allowed to exist in the society without being seen as a prospective partner. If you have a problem with I'm just a girl being a toxic trend, then you should have an equal, if not worse, problem with boys will be boys. No, I'm not overreacting. This is actually not funny. And the truth is that fathers don't really teach their kids. Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Divijabhasin, also known as Awkward Good 3 on Instagram. I'm a counseling psychologist and also a content creator. Here are my 3 pages. Make sure to follow them. Before we get into it, here are my qualifications. So, I was scrolling and I came across this tweet. Women are the scariest and meanest they've been in for quite some time. You know what? I agree. Let's break this down, shall we? Wait, let me get my emotional support goat. Now, 3 points to remember. Please keep in mind all of these points while watching the video. I'm going to talk about this in the context of India. Not because I hate Indians or I'm anti-national, because I'm Indian. And I live in India. Yes, I might criticize things about our culture, but it's not because I'm anti-national or I hate being Indian. It's because I'm not blind and I see the problems and I think that we should talk about them. Our culture is not perfect and I admit that. So should you. Second point. When I say men, I don't mean all men. I mean most men. I know not all men. Similarly, when I say women, I mean most women and not all women. Third point. I do not hate men. I just hate misogynistic men. I believe in equality. I'm a feminist. And I get to define it, not you. Especially if you're a man. We're going to be discussing the tweet and a few other trends like I'm just a girl and women in male dominated fields. So, to begin with, for centuries, women have not been allowed to be themselves. They've been shut out from the society. I know that sounds extreme, but let me explain. The society is made up of people who live at home with you and also people who are outside your house. And while women can kind of live their life at home, actually that's debatable. For many years, women have not been allowed to go outside their house. Yeah, they've been allowed to go out to buy vegetables, but professionally speaking, they haven't really been allowed to work outside their house. They've been told this narrative that they're naturally maternal and they need to take care of the kids while the husband goes out to work and earns the money. That they should stay at home and take care of the house. That they're naturally good at kitchen stuff and that men are not. Now that things are changing little by little, women are starting to work outside their houses. Things are changing, sure, but it's still in limited places. For example, there are barely any women who deliver packages. Tell me, how many times have you ordered something from Amazon or Zomato and it's been a woman to deliver your package? How many times have you seen women bus drivers, a woman taxi driver? We still have a long way to go. But still, things are getting better because women are not choosing to go out and work and also being allowed to do so. They're being allowed to earn their own money. People are going to say that when men go out to work, they're working, they're not having fun or anything. But I disagree. They still get to go out. When you go outside your house, you get to interact with all kinds of people from different types of backgrounds. It helps you grow. Don't get me wrong, staying at home can also help you grow, but it's in a different way. And honestly speaking, there's only so much growing you can do at home. It's limited. Let's remember that we're talking about history here, and that means that there was no internet in earlier times. That means that the women who stayed at home and didn't particularly go out except to buy groceries, they didn't really have any external influences. Their only source of information about the outside was their husband. This made them easier to get controlled. Whatever her husband tells her is the reality. A lot of women didn't know how to read either, so even if they got newspapers at home, she didn't really get to use it for her knowledge. This was great for husbands because they got to do whatever they wanted without their wife knowing. Whereas they got to know everything their wife did because there's only so much a woman can do at home when there was no internet. Fast forward to now. Even now, our society is not perfect. Most women are still encouraged to just work at home and not go outside. I mean, go outside to work. If you disagree and you think that it's equal now and that women are equally allowed to get a job outside their house, you're just privileged. The reality is that most Indian parents still prefer to just spend their money on the education of their sons instead of their daughters. For their daughters, their money is supposed to be spent on their marriage. I've even seen this in my personal social circles. It does not matter how rich or urban you are. People are just somehow more open to spending on their son's education rather than their daughter's education. Look, I'm all for women getting to choose what they want to do and being homemakers if they want to do that. But the ground reality is that working at home and not earning your own money, it kind of takes away a chunk of your freedom. Not because all men suck and they just want to manipulate and control you, but because it takes away your financial freedom. It's very simple. If you earn, you get to decide where your money goes. And also how you low key get to live your life. Because let's be honest, money is a huge part of your life to make you independent. The unfortunate truth is that you don't just get to make your own financial decisions, but people also give you more respect. And this is true even if your husband is caring and loving and doesn't want to control you. If he is the only person in the house who is earning and you are kind of dependent on him, financially speaking, he does to some extent get to decide what you do or don't do with his money. Yes, that is true even if he is not misogynistic. It's just how things are. The person with the money or the person who is earning the money will always be the one who is more powerful in your relationship, consciously or unconsciously. Now, coming back to that tweet. Women are becoming scary and mean, and it's true. For how the society sees women. Because women are now gaining power. They're working outside the house and earning their own money. And this also means that they get to gain various perspectives from the outside. Their husbands and fathers are now not the only sources of their information. The internet is helping a lot. Now, even homemakers get to be a part of the outside society and be involved in it, even if they're not working outside. They get to see other people's opinions. There are so many videos on the internet of women now joking about the problems that they go through, how they're mistreated at home. And they're just jokes, but actually, there is a deeper meaning. Like, look at this reel.
गया मैसेज, बहू टाइम से घर आ जाना, चाची जी आएंगी, खाना बनाना है। अंबानियों की कंपनी टेक ओवर भी कर जाऊं ना, तब भी मुझसे रोटियां ही बनवाएंगे ये, यही मेरा टैलेंट है। सुबह 7 बजे उठ के 5 लोगों का खाना बनाया, ऑफिस आई 9 बजे, अब 6 बजे घर वापस जाके फिर 10 लोगों का खाना बनाऊंगी। बहू मजदूरी पे कोई कैंपेन क्यों नहीं कर रहा है?
So she's joking about how daughter-in-laws are treated and how their jobs are treated. In-laws don't really give that much importance to their daughter-in-law's career, nor is their job given that much respect in the family. Basically, first daughters have to fight their parents to take their education seriously, and then they have to fight their in-laws to take their job seriously. Women have to fight many battles that men don't. The in-laws expect the girl to be a homemaker, even if she has a job outside. The daughter-in-law might have a full-time job, but it doesn't matter to the in-laws. She's still expected to make a full meal at home. While the husband, he's not even allowed in the kitchen. Not because he's impure, unlike women on their period according to some people, but because हमारा राजा बेटा kitchen में नहीं जाना चाहिए. This is a very common problem that a lot of Indian women face at home. There was another reel that I saw.
कौन है बेटा?
कोई नहीं है वाह।
रघुपति राघव राजा राम। आंदू, मैं रील बना के आती हूँ। क्या?
रोटी बोली माँ, रोटी बना के आती है।
हाँ हाँ, रोटी बना के आती हूँ। मैंने क्यों रील सुना? हाँ हाँ, गोवा जाना है ना गर्ल्स ट्रिप पे, आ जाओगी मैं।
माँ
अरे क्या गोवा? मैं सिर्फ फैमिली ट्रिप्स पे ही जाती हूँ। हाँ, तुम लोग जाओ। आंदू, मैं हेयर कट करवाने जा रही हूँ।
हाँ ठीक है।
और इस बार मैं ऐसा सोच रही हूँ कि बॉय कट करवा दूँ। हैं? मतलब बॉय को बोलोगे कि मेरे बाल इतने इतने कट कर दे, ऐसा। हाँ ठीक है।
On the surface, it's just a video about how modern women live with their in-laws. But if you watch it with your light bulb on, you'll realize that it's about how modern women are controlled by their in-laws, regardless of how modern they are. The girl can't even wear what she wants in her own house. It's because it's not seen as her house. It's seen as her in-laws' house, so they get to control her. Now, if she earned her own money, she might have been able to suggest that let's get another house or another floor so that the couple can live separately from the in-laws. Money gives you more power. Nowadays, women also make content on how they're mistreated outside their home as well. Like, watch this reel. staring at her in a really creepy way. How do I know this? Because it's happened to me and probably millions of other women who live in India every time they travel by public transport. Men stare. And it doesn't even matter if you're filming yourself or not. You could just be existing and they'll stare at you. And a lot of them do much more than just staring. Doesn't matter if there's other people in the metro. It's very clear that their intentions are not good. I also saw some questionable comments on this reel. No offense, but what if it was a well dressed man staring the same way? It's like he completely missed the point. Women don't want to be stared at. Public transport is not a dating app. We're not here to get hit on. You know that women can exist without wanting to be looked as a sexual being, right? It's just a woman traveling to work or some random place. Women should be allowed to exist in the society without being seen as a prospective partner. My point is that it doesn't matter if the guy is rich, tall, poor, fair. It's about consent and respect. Something that a lot of men are not taught for some reason. It's sad that this is something that needs to be taught. He's just uneducated and his mom never taught him how to respect women. Take it from a man. Why is it his mom's job to teach him respect? Does he not have a father? Why is the father not teaching him anything? The internet loves to insult women by calling them fatherless, when the truth is that fathers don't really teach their kids anything. I'm not saying that. The person who made the comment is. According to him, the parenting duty only lies on the mother, not the father. And this is the worst comment of all. Then please stay in the kitchen. You know, this is a very common comment that men make on the internet. Stay in the kitchen, do the dishes, go make me a sandwich. Men claim that they're seeing this as a joke, but we all know that they're not. It is that deep. They mean it. They want women to stay in the kitchen because that's how they can control them. If women continue to stay in the kitchen, then how will they have a thought of their own? They'll just be too busy thinking about chopping onions. Not that there's anything wrong with chopping onions. Everyone should know how to cook, not just women. Anyway, the internet has very clearly helped women talk about topics that were not talked about earlier. It's making them realize that the things that they thought were problematic are actually problematic and they're not alone. This kind of content gives them validation. It's empowering. And if you're a woman, you're not alone. Earlier, the jokes that existed in society were all like husband wife jokes. That were mostly husband jokes, if we're being real here. They all used to make the woman look bad. Like, look at this joke. A husband asks his wife, "Will you marry after I die?" The wife responds, "No, I will live with my sister." The wife asks him back, "Will you marry after I die?" And the husband responds, "No, I will also live with your sister." Is that supposed to be funny? It's not. It's really not funny. Because it's based on the assumption that men are sexual animals. It's fine if they're attracted to their wife's sister. This is just a joke according to them. It's not that deep. Imagine if the roles were reversed and the wife said that, "I live with your brother." Would anyone laugh? How would the people see the wife? We all know the answer. No, I'm not overreacting. This is actually not funny. Now, coming to two popular trends that are going around these days. The first one is "I'm just a girl," which is like the girl version of "boys will be boys." That husband wife joke that I just showed you, it's a classic example of boys will be boys, men will be men. "I'm just a girl" is similarly used to describe things that girls do because they're just girls. Like this reel. Convincing the cashier to give me his employee discount. So the girl is kind of using her body to attract the cashier so that she gets a discount. And the caption says, "I'm just a girl." Or this other reel is going to make her boyfriend wait because she wants to get ready and she's just a girl, so it's going to take her time to get ready. Is it a nice thing to do all of these things? No. Just because you're a girl, it doesn't mean that you get to do anything you want and hurt people's feelings. But we have to see this in the context of "boys will be boys." How men are allowed to do super weird things, super toxic things just because they're men. When men stare at girls and make them feel uncomfortable, people say, "It's a man, what do you expect? Men will be men, boys will be boys." When a man goes to the kitchen and creates a huge mess because he tried to cook, people say, "Oh, he's just a boy, men will be men, they don't know how to do kitchen work." Basically, "boys will be boys" has been historically used to justify.
Sorry, I can't help you with that. You can change it in the Home app on your iPhone.
Boys will be boys has been historically used to justify the toxic behavior of men, which results in people ignoring the consequences of the toxic behavior because that toxic behavior is turned into a joke. In that husband wife joke, for example, the husband being attracted to his wife's sister while being married to her and dreaming about living with the wife's sister after she dies, that's extremely weird. But does anybody think that's weird? No. It's like Taylor Swift said in her song, boys will be boys, then where are the wise men? Girls are always expected to live according to the society. The society has so many expectations when it comes to women. Forget being toxic, they're not even allowed to have their own opinions. There are expectations about what they wear, how they do their hair, that rhymes, who they marry, how they look, what length of hair is acceptable on which body part, no hair on armpit, but keep long hair on head, ooga booga. And this starts from when they're young. For example, when we're in school, there are so many rules about uniforms, and even though the school calls it discipline, it's mostly slut shaming because there are rules about the length of a girl's skirt. In fact, in my school, which was a convent, teachers literally used to tell us that we're trying to attract boys when we used to wear ankle length socks. The funniest part was that it was a convent and it was an all girls school, so there were no boys. Men, on the other hand, they get to just exist without such expectations. They can wear anything they want. They can literally go out in their balcony in their underwear with their entire nipples out, and nobody's going to say anything to them. Nobody will question their morals as a man. Yeah, they might think they're weird, but nobody's going to question their morals. It's a bigger crime if a woman did that. I can't even imagine a woman doing that. So I'm just a girl is a comeback for boys will be boys. Is it kind of toxic as a trend or the way people are making it? I will not say no. I agree, it is a little toxic. I say little because these women are just saying these things. Most of the women don't do such things. But if you have a problem with I'm just a girl being a toxic trend, then you should have an equal, if not worse, problem with boys will be boys. Because boys will be boys is literally used to justify rape culture. And I'm just a girl is used to justify girls giving too much importance to lip gloss, which isn't great but still better than rape. Do you see how one problem is nothing compared to the other problem? And then there's another trend, women in male dominated fields. I personally love this trend and I did my own version of it. Here's my reel. So initially when I saw this whole trend, I found it a little bit toxic. For example, this reel. When he teaches me lying, so I hit him with believe what you want, I'm too tired to explain. I mean, this doesn't sound like healthy behavior in a relationship, right? So that's why I was like, this trend doesn't sound very cool or nice. Then I saw another reel where it said, when he sends me a paragraph and I hit him with, I don't know what you want me to say right now, which is again an example of not very healthy communication in a relationship. But then I saw another reel. He called me out for checking out other men. So I explained it's biological because women are visual creatures. And that's when I started getting it. This trend is not saying that women are going to do the things they're saying in the trend. They're just saying the things that men already do. They're flipping the narrative. Women don't do these things, but men actually do them. But somehow nobody finds it toxic. And it's to do with their gender. They're not doing this as individuals because these things are related to men in the sense that if somebody tells you that someone is doing this, then you can guess that it's going to be a man. It's the same boys will be boys thing. Like, he's a boy. He's not going to reply to all of your texts and he's going to reply with a K. Like, it's just assumed that men are not good at communication or emotions and that men will be men, so you'll have to deal with it. And that's what the trend is about. It's flipping the narrative. And men are getting so offended in the comment sections. It's ironic because they never get offended when they see other boys behaving like this in real life. When their own bros and homies act like this, they don't call them out. They just laugh it off without caring about the girls. It's only a problem for them if a woman is acting like this. If it happens to men, it's like a huge deal. It's so toxic. But if it happens to a woman, it's like, oh, men are like this, just learn to adjust. Coming back to the tweet, I think women are getting meaner and scarier because their mean and scary levels were at a 0. Now maybe they're at like a 13. Men, on the other hand, their scary and mean levels, they're at 100. Men do horrible things to women as a gender. They objectify them, they sexualize them, They take away their freedom. They don't let women be human. Women, on the other hand, when they're being scary and mean, they're just making TikToks and adding dots instead of exclamation marks in their emails while still worrying if they're being too rude. And they're flipping the narrative, not even in real life, because they can't, because the society is patriarchal. Even when women objectify men, it's done in a haha hee kind of way, not in a real way. Women are not going around killing or raping men. Not as a gender, at least. That might be happening on a personal and singular level, but it's not like a gender based crime. Men being scary and mean is men raping and killing women. Women being scary and mean is them saying, I don't feel like making dinner today. Look, women are just learning to be assertive. Assertiveness is standing up for what you believe and being powerful. Saying what's on your mind, saying no. They still have a long way to go. So, no, women are not scary or mean. They're just learning to be independent and strong and powerful, like men. If you think women being powerful is scary and mean, then maybe you should hate on men as well because they're already that, but worse. Women being scary and mean, men are not liking it because they're not used to it. They can't stand that they're literally getting called out for the wrong things that they've done historically. Boys are not allowed to just be boys anymore. They can't just do anything because I'm just a boy. They're now being held accountable and they're being questioned. And they do not like it. But me, I'm here for it. I hope you are too. Let me know what you think.